think it's this one. Oh, yeah, I think I did.
Ready to roll?
Yes.
Oh,
So, man, you can't see anybody from up here. I'm Sani, co-founder of Try My UI. And Try My UI is a service that allows you to hear and see users experiencing your website. So you're an entrepreneur, and you've put together a website, a service, a business, and you think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you're convinced that you've got the marketing message down and customers are going to come flocking to your door. Well, how do you know for sure? You know, typically you can ask for advice from your girlfriend, get coworkers to take a look at it, but what you really need is to have real potential customers who've never seen your site before, who are not intimately familiar with your service, use it. So ideally you would go and you'd find somebody who's never seen your product before, sit them down in front of a computer, stand over their shoulder, and watch them as they experience it for the first time. And that's exactly what Try My UI does. Let me show you how it works. So let's say you had a project like SFNewTech, and let's imagine there's somebody in the world who doesn't know what SFNewTech is. And you're curious to know how somebody who's completely unfamiliar with SFNewTech, whether they can, from the website, quickly determine what SFNewTech is all about. How do you do it? You go to Try My UI, and you fill out a very simple form. So here you enter the scenario. This is essentially the frame of mind that you want your ideal user to be in this case, an entrepreneur came across the site by chance, has no idea what it is, but wants to learn more. You enter specific tasks that you want the user to accomplish. In this case, figure out as quickly as you can what SFNewTech is, who's it for, who goes there, what goes on there, when's the next event, how much are tickets, and so on. You can ask questions for which you'll get written answers. These are survey questions. After the user has completed the interactive portion of the test, he'll answer those written questions for you. And then you can be pretty specific about the type of user you're looking for. You can pick the demographics. You hit continue, and the test goes out to a large pool of users meeting your demographics, and then within an hour you get this. Hopefully the sound will work. No. Can we get the sound?
What I was kind of hoping for.
No. No, that's local sound. So it's coming out of this headset for sure. Ah, good idea.
I'd like to understand a little bit more about what SFNewTech is. Now, what I was kind of hoping for, usually when I come to a website and I look at the logo up the top left corner, I see some sort of tagline, like, for example, SFNewTech, and then in a brief sentence tells me exactly what I'm expecting to do on this site. I don't really see that here, so what I want to do is look around. Well, apparently there's some hot-looking chicks in paintings at SFNewTech, so you've already got my attention. But it seems like there's probably some sort of event that's going on, because I can see a calendar here, a schedule. So what I'm doing is I'm scrolling down New Tech Turns 5. Looks like there's like shots from maybe one of the conventions or something like that. Basically, these are blog comments or blog entries. You can see who sponsors. Just a lot of blog entries. It's not really telling me what the proposition is with New Tech. So what I want to do is I want to click on About, and maybe that's going to tell me this is a monthly technology event. Probably these are screenshots that I'm seeing of that event. That was probably where the picture of the hot chick, the painting, came from, and I'm sure it was just peppered there to grab attention to guys like me that are coming to the site. So if you'll notice, what I did was I started here at the home page, didn't really get a good idea of what it was about, scrolled down, didn't really understand why I was looking at a blog entry on the home page, but as soon as I clicked on About, that took me to a section that explained to me exactly what I was going to be able to do, accomplish, and find on this site.
Okay, so this video was originally about 10 minutes long, packed with a lot of useful information. We edited it down to about 1.5 minutes so we could fit it in this demo. But even at 1.5 minutes, you could kind of tell that the user who'd never seen SFNewTech actually couldn't tell from the front page. It took him about 4 minutes and 30 seconds to figure out what SFNewTech was because he couldn't find it on the front page. And his comment here about just a simple tagline below the logo would have been very useful, I think was a very good comment. So very excited to have presented this to you today. I'm especially excited because I think there's a lot of different projects going on out there with people in the audience that could benefit from this service. And so if you're interested in trying it, we have a little offer here. If you tweet this in the next 10 minutes, we'll track you and throw you an additional free test, which is worth $25. The tests are $25 a pop.
All right, Sandy, thank you. So yes, we did put the hot chick on the homepage for a reason.
It seems to have worked.
I've got a question. This looks really cool. Have you thought about doing this for iPhone, iPad apps?
It's on our roadmap. It's a tricky thing to do. There's certainly the ability to do it with an emulator, and that's certainly on our roadmap. It's very much in demand. So I think the first person that comes out with that application is gonna do well.
What about a mobile web app?
Whether you can, I'm sorry? Yeah, so if you want to test a mobile web app, is that right? Yeah, so the prerequisite to running a test on Try My UI is that it's an application that is visible to anybody on the web. So our users, basically, when it gets farmed out to our crowd of users, and they sit at home typically, and you get to see them, operating from their home on their home computer. So if it's visible to them on their home computer and it runs on a browser, you'll get their whole screen and their voice as they use your app.
Question back here.
Yes, is one of your personas like a venture capitalist, and can we ask them the question, is this fundable on a website? And is that still $25?
I totally missed that, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, so the proposition is that we get to define the persona of the web visitor and what they're after.
Yes. And your question is, what if I have a website where the persona needs to be like Michael Jackson or something like that, or
No, a venture capitalist.
Venture.
Yes, or
yeah,
you're not likely.
We're not likely to have workers in our pool who are going to be venture capitalists. But is that the question? So you could have tests that are done by people who could pretend to be a venture capitalist if that was really important. But typically people are testing the usability of their website, and so any user is going to be able to point out issues with respect to usability.
Okay, well, a little more seriously, the person in the video seemed to be putting himself in the mind frame of a naive web visitor, but seemed to know more than like a random person off the street.
Yeah, so you can, in the demographics, you can ask for various classes of user in terms of their expertise on the internet, and this guy was an experienced internet user.
Where are your farms?
So currently we have users in the United States, Great Britain, and Canada, and you can reach users in any of those countries.
How do you get those users? Like, what criteria do you use to sign them up for testing?
Oh, that's an excellent question. So we qualify them very rigorously. So we allow only 1 out of every 15 applicants to become a test user, but we qualify them only on 2 criteria. One is their ability to say out loud everything that they're thinking, which not everybody is good at doing, although most people can do with practice. And the other is to stay on task and to follow the tasks that you present to them closely, not wander around too much. And beyond that, if they're good at those 2 things, they're typically accepted by us as users. I can repeat it. Go ahead.
Yeah, are the users paid? And what do you charge the person who's doing the test? And does somebody need a microphone to be able to use it?
So the question is, are the users paid? What do we charge for the tests? And do you need a microphone to be able to do this? Yes, the users are paid. They're paid $10 per test. Tests run a maximum of 20 minutes. Does the user need a microphone? Yes, they do need to do a microphone. So some of the qualification issues are just getting themselves set up at home where they are able to record. They don't need any special equipment. They don't download anything to their machine. It's a built-in Java app that runs from any browser that records their screen and their voice. And we charge $25 per test. Yes, go ahead.
We want to know if there are cupcakes.
The cupcakes are coming.
Pretty crowded space, right? How do you differentiate with the other players, and do you have the other players that have a head start on you?
That's a really good question. We currently have finer demographic criteria. We have built an impression test built into your test that you can just select automatically for no extra cost. An impression test basically flashes your website in front of the user for 10 seconds and then removes it and asks him some questions. And you get that built into your test. So you get the impression, you can have the impression test and then continue with tasks on the website, and so you get a true impression test. We've got a whole lot of new features in the pipeline that we're coming with regards to getting statistical information as well as this qualitative information. So getting how long does it take users to complete tasks, as well as being able to watch the users complete tasks. And we also believe, and you can see for yourself, that we have very high quality service in terms of the QA we do on every test and the QA we do in terms of picking our users.
Real quick, does a user have to own the website, or can they just post in a bunch of their own? They can put in yahoo.com and put in 25 bucks.
That brings up a very good question. So one of the use cases, which is very interesting, if you're in developing a site or if you're an entrepreneur, is to check out your competitors' sites. So to run usability tests against a whole slew of sites that are in your same space, figure out where the holes are and figure out where people are having problems, and then run usability tests on your own site. So you can run a test on whatever site you want as long as it's publicly available on the internet. You can also run tests on stuff that's hidden if it's password controlled, and you can just offer the password to the tester. Thank you.
Sandy, thank you.
Congratulations.
Good stuff. Thank you so much. I'd like that video. I'd like to see the rest of that.